Legends say that the skewer distracts your opponent from winning the game. It is said that it is the most effective tactic. We brought to you the skewer. Psst, psst, bro, the skewer, bro.
Hi, my name is Johnny. We are from the group of Nakamura and we are doing a tactic called the skewer in the middle game. First and foremost, let me introduce you our team members. These are the first three members of our team, which are Ahmad Aiman Hakimi bin Nizam, Muhammad Hasid bin Khairuddin and me. Proceeding by Noor Iza Hayati, Hamis Wafi Muazzam, and William Chong Zeng-yong. The last member of our team was Muhammad Atlaf, so there is a total of 7 members in our team. Before proceeding to the main content of our group presentation today, let me simply explain the tactic of skewer. Skewer is a basic chess tactic which taking advantage of alliance pieces to gain material by attacking the file or diagonal where the opponent pieces are lined up. As a result, the most valuable piece is attacked first, so it must move first and make way for you to take the less valuable piece behind it. So this is the table of contents of our group presentation today. We divide the presentation into 4 parts. Part 1 was the variation, Part 2 was the ways to apply the tactics, Part 3 was the application by using the link chess.com, Part 4 was the conclusion. So now let us proceed to the main content of our group presentation today.
Good morning, sir. And this is the poster for our group project. That's the logo for UTP and the course code CHESS semester May 2022. And then the title we do is the skewer in middle game. And then in this poster we can see the description, variations, and how to apply skewer. And then everyone can see the details in this poster, and our team members have 7 persons. Okay, that's all from me. I pass to another person.
There are 2 variations in skewer. The first one is called relative skewer, and the second one is called absolute skewer. For relative skewer, it's involving 2 non-king pieces. It is tactic to capture the piece that been exposed with legal move. The defender is mostly will move the skewered piece and give up the less valuable piece behind it. In this diagram, it is white's turn to move. Black queen on f7 is skewered by white's bishop. To avoid capture of the queen, black must move the queen. And on the next move, white can capture the rook on g8. This is a relative skewer. Black is likely to move the queen, which is more valuable than the rook, but the choice is still available. For absolute skewer, the attack piece has a higher relative value to the piece behind it. The defender cannot ignore the skewered piece because the king in check. It is absolutely confirmed that the defender will lose the piece behind the king because the defender is forced, if possible, to get the king out of check. In this diagram, it is white's turn to move. The black king is skewered by the white bishop. This is an absolute skewer because the rules of chess force the black on e6 to get out of check if possible. After black chooses one of the handful of legal moves available, white bishop will capture the black's rook on g8 on the next move.
Next, let's look at how to apply a skewer. A skewer can be done by attacking a more valuable piece that is in front of another piece of lesser value. Through this, the lesser valuable piece can be taken when the more valuable piece moves out of the way. But in order to do this, you must ensure that your piece is either protected or not in danger, so it cannot be taken. So in this situation, the move queen b3 skewers the king and the queen. so that when the king wants to move out of check, the black queen is not protected and can be taken by the white queen. This will result in a winning endgame for white.
My name is Hamis Sofi Muazzam, and I'm studying petroleum engineering. And there are two types of skewers, which are absolute skewer and relative skewer. I'm going to talk about the relative skewer. In a relative skewer, the pieces involved do not necessarily need to be addressed, but it is generally disadvantageous to not address the skewered piece. This is the first example of a relative skewer. As you can see on the board, the white bishop is in line with the black queen and the black rook. So the queen is being attacked while rook is behind the queen. The opponent will be moving the queen to avoid it being captured, but exposing the rook behind it. Therefore, the bishop can capture the rook freely. This is the second example of a relative skewer. As you can see on the board, the black bishop is in line with the white knight and the white rook. So the opponent will not move the knight as the rook is more valuable. Therefore, the bishop can freely capture the knight. This is the third example of the relative skewer. It is black's turn to move, and as you can see on the board, the rook is trapped behind the queen while the queen is being attacked by the white bishop. The queen cannot capture the white bishop as the white rook is protecting it, so the queen must move away while exposing the rook.
Okay, so next I'll be explaining the absolute skewer, which is another version of the skewer other than the relative skewer, which has been explained by Hamis just now. So I will be explaining the application, how we able to apply the absolute skewer. So from this chessboard, we can do an absolute skewer, but we must do some moves before we can do the skewer. So from that, we must force some piece to move to the direction that it is forced to move. So we see that it's here. It is rook is unprotected by anything, so we can move QH4, which is here, so that the king will be in check. So it has nothing to do except it move the king here, and then we can move the queen in here to check again, and it is protected by the bishop here. The square here is protected by the bishop, so the king has no other move, so the king will move here. So we can see that the king is aligned with the rook here and here. The king is aligned with the rook, so can do the skewer, the absolute skewer specifically. So the queen can move here, and then the king has no other move. It can go here, it can go here, so it has to be here. And then the rook is unprotected, and then we can capture the rook. So that is for the first example. And this is also the example of the absolute skewer. So we can see that king here is aligned diagonally to the queen here, and the queen is unprotected by any other pieces. It is unprotected. The bishop is not protecting it. The bishop here is not protecting it, and also other pieces is not protecting it. So what we can do is find the piece that can move diagonally and try to capture the queen that is behind the king. So what I can see here, the queen can move here, and then it is in check anywhere in the leg square, and then we can capture the queen, which is unprotected by other pieces. So you can see if it is true. Oh, king move here, as it has no other move to do, so we can capture the queen here. So next, for the third example of the absolute skewer. So for this, king is diagonally aligned with the queen here, so it is a bad move from the black side, as it put the king is diagonally with the queen here, and our queen, which is white to move, white queen can can move to the square, which is diagonally aligned with the king and queen here. And yep, when the king the white queen move to g8, the black has nothing to do but other than moving the king. So, and then queen, the black side will lost the queen by queen x a2. So for another example, we can see the chessboard here. There's only the king and the rook from each of the sides. So in the chessboard here, we must think on how to make the king align with the rook. So we must think on how to make the rook is behind the king. So and what only we have is that it is black to move. So what we must do, the king must be in line with the rook horizontally, like this. So to make it to be forced the king to move a line here, with the to move to the 7th line. So what we can do is that we first move the rook here, and then the king cannot move here and here, so the king is no other choice but to move here, because the square has been protected by this king, right? So and that, okay, so we try move. So the king is in the check, and it has no other move other than moving into e7. So, and from this we can see that the rook is hidden behind the king, and then we can apply the skewer by moving the rook to h7. We can move here, and then the king is in check. It has no other choice than moving the king from the check. So we can move, I think we can move there, and then we can capture the rook behind it. So that is the application of the absolute skewer, which is we check the king and then we capture the one behind it, which is unprotected by any other pieces. So that's it for the application of the absolute skewer from me.
Hi, I'm Amir Hakimi. Right now I will explain briefly about our conclusion of our presentation. Skewer is one of the chess tactics that will help you winning some chess games. It is same like fork pattern. Also, skewer is opposite of a pin. It is effective tactics that can sometimes be prepared with suitable moves. Escaping from a skewer is possible, provided you can make the right trade or defend accurately.